The Media Bay is a search engine in Cubase that can help you find all the different media within Cubase in an easy way. You can find the Media Bay by clicking on F5 on your keyboard, or from Cubase 9 and above in the right zone in the Media tab. The Media Bay in the right zone looks a bit different, but both of them work in the same way. In the home screen of the Media Bay, you can see all the different categories you can choose your media from. In VST Instruments, you have all the instruments in Cubase organized in a list, just like when you're adding a new instrument from the track column itself, including pictures for a faster identification. You can always use the search up here to find what you want in the list you're in. By clicking on an instrument made by Steinberg, for example Halion Sonic, you have an access to all the sounds and libraries coming with the instrument. After we pick a library and clicking on one of the presets, we can play the keyboard to hear the sounds. You can control the volume from here, and you also have a computer keyboard if you don't have a MIDI controller. And by marking this button, you can play on the keyboard in real time. Just turn it off when you want to continue, or every key you will press won't respond since it's still connecting to the instrument. A double click on the preset will open a new instrument track with the sound you chose. You can also drag a preset to an empty space or between tracks in the track column to do the same effect. If you're dragging an instrument and placing it on top of a different instrument, it will simply replace it. You can also choose any of the slots and drag a preset in order to add it to a different slot. Now we can return back or press on the home to get to the Media Bay's main screen. Let's go back to the instruments. You can see that instruments that weren't made by Steinberg have no photo, and if you click on them, you won't see any presets. This happens because these instruments are not synchronized with Cubase and cannot show you all the presets. To add them to the track column, just hold and drag them to an empty spot on the column. In Cubase 10, you can press on this camera button to capture a snapshot of the instrument and place it in the Media Bay. It's pretty cool, but don't waste too much time on this function. Keep making music. Let's go back to the main screen of the Media Bay and continue to the VST effects. Here you have all the different inserts in Cubase. Just like before, the Steinberg's effects have pictures on them. The effects are working a bit similar. All the effects by Steinberg have presets of their own if you click on them, and inserts you downloaded yourself don't have anything inside. Click on an insert or a preset you want, and drag it directly on the track you want to add it to. The effects will be added directly under the Inserts tab. You can also press directly on the insert itself and drag it to the selected track. Just like before, you have a camera here to add a snapshot of the insert. If you drag the insert to an empty slot, it will open an FX channel. This is something related to the mixing process, so I would avoid it at this level. Let's return back to the main screen and continue with the loops and samples. The loops and samples list contain all the different audio samples and different patterns of MIDI in different categories. You have audio files that you can hear by clicking on them and dragging them into the project, but we'll focus on them more in the next course. You will also find MIDI loops of drums, pianos, and many other instruments. You can drag them into the track column or double-click to add them into the project, as the loop you heard will be added to the place of the cursor. The instruments from here could also come with inserts on them, so it's a nice way to try some new ideas. Remember that you can always look in the search bar for what you need. By filtering the media types, you can determine if you need an audio or a MIDI loop, which is what we have in the loops and samples category. Let's go back to the main screen and continue to the presets category. In here, you can find some pre-made presets for different types of sounds you're aiming for. Let's begin with the track presets, where you can place presets that contains inserts and other parameters on tracks of the same category. We have audio that contains several inserts for different categories, and you can drag it or use it on an existing audio. I'll teach that in the next course. Instruments, which I'm not recommending too much because it's using really old instruments. Sampler, which is something related to audio, and I'll talk about in the next course. MIDI, and multi, which has several tracks that you can record on top of them simultaneously, like a choir or a drum set. Don't forget to use the categories on top in order to find what you need a lot faster. Let's go back, and here in the strip presets, you can find different channel strip arrangements that will help you design your sound faster. The channel strip is something you can find by pressing on the E right here, or on the track, and going to the channel strip. Feel free to experiment, but notice that it's related to mixing more, so I would leave it alone now. The pattern banks contain patterns for drums, like we reviewed in lesson number 8. Drag the presets into the project to add a drum track with a beat designer in the MIDI inserts. You can drag it on an existing Groove Agent track, but just pay attention to the drum sounds. They might get a little mixed up with the pattern design. Some of them also contain inserts. The FX Chain preset contain pre-made presets of inserts located one after the other, and based on the name of the preset, you can match it to the sound you want to achieve. For example, I'll drag it on a track, and as you can see, the inserts have popped up and I can use it to design my sounds. Like always, don't forget to use the categories on the top. And finally, the VST FX presets is what we saw earlier in the VST effects. But here you have all the FX presets of the Cubase inserts organized in one big list. A cool thing you can do with the Media Bay is to create tracks of your own and add them to the lists, and later on find them in the user presets. For an example, this instrument with piano and inserts that I made sounds great. And I'd like to add it to other songs. I'll right click on the track and save track preset. Now I'll name it the way I want and find it after that in the user presets under the track presets and the VST instrument with all the inserts inside. If you choose several tracks and save them, you will find them in the multi-category. We have drums here, for example, and after selecting them and saving them as a drum preset, they will show in the list. Same goes for the VST FX presets. You can save a list of inserts you made by clicking here and pressing on Save FX Chain Preset. Then you can name it and select it from here. I'll be honest with you, I'm not using the Media Bay much for instruments. It does come handy once in a while and you can decide if you want to use it yourself. I just find it more convenient when you know exactly where everything is. But if you're new to Cubase and looking for new inspirations and new ideas, the Media Bay is the right place to go to.